Dark Souls 2. This is the contentious one. It's disappointing within the Souls series for a few fundamental reasons, but most people agree that while it's not a good Souls game, it's still a good game. I don't think it's a good game. I mean, that's supposed to rile people up. What I mean by that is that I don't like it on a fundamental level. It's okay, whatever. I've glossed over all the other games, largely focusing on the major differences between them. Demon Souls is a horror game, Dark Souls is infinitely replayable, Bloodborne is pure catharsis, and Dark Souls 3 is a lovely swan song. I focused on the major differences because the quality was largely the same. They all had excellent art direction, level design, animation, music and sound, wonderfully tight controls, varied and interesting enemies and bosses, and a sense of fairness in every challenge you faced, save for a couple shitty things here and there. Dark Souls 2 doesn't quite reach that standard. Comparing Dark Souls 2 to the other games in the Dark Demon Blood series just isn't fair, which is why people tend to abstain from judging it against the others, opting to go for that generous, it's a good game, but not a good Souls game thing. It's like Fallout 4 or something. It's fun, it's got some nice graphics, stuff to do, few flaws, but hey, nothing's perfect, it's still a fun time, I've had fun with it, I liked it for what it was, I still respect it as a video game. Yeah, okay. It is fun, sure. The same sort of fun as twiddling my dick. It's not boring, but there's gotta be something more to this. And that's just it. People settle for less, big whoop. I mean, that's like been the last 50 years of everything. But the thing is, Dark Souls 2 isn't like Fallout 4. It's not a dumbed down version of Dark Souls 1, but with nicer graphics. It's arguably dumbed up. It's almost okay. They tried really hard to make it a good sequel without the guidance of Big Dick Miyazaki. They tried so hard, and they got so far. That's the thing. The new lore is pretty cool. The places and the people are alright. The level design isn't bad. There's a few dumb things you can nitpick here and there, and there's obviously the issue of certain locations not being physically possible in relation to each other, but that could have tied into the whole theme of forgetting stuff, like, oh, how did I get here? I forgot. You know, but it doesn't really come across like that, it just comes across as bad level design. But the concepts for the levels are okay. I dig some of the concepts. Some of the places look really good. Some of them don't, but Majula, look at that. Look at that little place with the ocean. Everybody likes Majula. They have elements of good shit in this game. Some of these people in this game dev team knew what they were doing, but it all comes crashing down because of a fundamental flaw in the design of the game itself. Game sucks. Say what you will about every other aspect of Dark Souls 2. Maybe it's all literally perfect, but the absolute most important thing to get right is the game. The gameplay. The pressing of the buttons and the moving of the guy. And it's not even completely broken. It just slightly misses the mark, which is why it's so goddamn controversial and so frustrating to me personally, because I kinda like parts of it, and I can't bring myself to play it again to experience them, because game sucks. The difficulty was overindulged in, I think we can all agree, and they didn't quite know how to do difficulty properly, resulting in a lot of cheap bullshit. It's certainly challenging, but it's the sort of challenge that wastes your time instead of making you think. Case in point, I streamed Dark Souls 2 over on my twitch.tv/giveandtake, and for the first few areas, I was having fun. It was easier than the first time I played it, and it felt like I may have been wrong this whole time. Maybe it was a good game, and I was just being mean. It's actually okay. But then, I got to the lava stage, where all my frustrations came flooding back. I hate this place. The knights here are very strong and very fast, and reset their animations almost instantly after finishing a combo. Fighting them one-on-one is okay, but the first room after the bridge, there are 5 or 6 of them hidden away, ready to run up behind you and slash you and stab you in the butthole unless you go and take care of them first. After slowly trying to make progress in this area, I figured it would be worth it to see if you could rush through everything to get to the boss door, because I can't be bothered fighting these fucking enemies anymore. And no, you can't. They're too quick, they run up faster than you can run, they stag you every time, and I don't like that, and it annoys me. Places like this force you to grind instead of forcing you to play better. And nothing is more indicative of this than the fact that the invincibility frames from rolling are determined by the agility stat, showing that grinding for souls is more important than learning to dodge correctly. If I roll and I still get hit, was that my fault? Or was my stat too low? I don't know. Better just go grind a few levels just in case. I hate grinding, fuck this game. The point is, the game is not well put together. It's decent enough that people can have fun with it, but it just doesn't work on that base level. and some people are able to settle for less. And that would be fine if those people would just admit that they are settling for less. There's no shame in liking something of slightly lower quality. There really isn't. But there is shame in believing that what you're into must be of the highest quality because you can't stand the idea that what you like isn't top of the line. I know people can be insulting, but fuck them. They don't matter. If you like Dark Souls 2 and it's your favorite one of the series, you don't have to try and prove to everyone else that it's the best one because you like it the most. Don't drag down Dark Souls 1 and claim the flaws are present in both games like that means your game is just as good or better. The funny thing is, you're not wrong. They do share a lot of the flaws. Dark Souls 1 does have its cheap moments. But the point isn't which game has the least flaws that you can list, it's about which game feels better to play. In Dark Souls 1, moving around, fighting enemies, rolling, backstabbing, all that, it looks and feels great by default. The game is satisfying, so I can more easily forgive some of the bullshit like the Bed of Chaos. Dark Souls 2 doesn't have that strong foundation, with the agility stat making rolling unpredictable, the enemy tracking that makes backstabbing nigh on impossible, and the general weird floaty animations of the player character all culminate in a game that when stripped down to the bone, sucks. It's no surprise that I get mad at all of these games. It's fucking frustrating to lose your souls, or to make a stupid mistake like a retard like me, or to just get caught off guard. Even the things that are totally my fault can piss me off, just because I don't like losing. But despite the frustration, they have such a good game feel that I will never stop playing until I win. I will keep playing despite the rage, because the game feels so good to play that it doesn't matter. Except Dark Souls 2. Because the game sucks.